because as you know, sometimes our allies out there become somewhat tentative. Azerbaijan has been a strong and solid ally, never wavered on us in the 20 years since we've started U.S.-Azerbaijan diplomatic relations. And that's why I feel the importance of recognizing them as a country. And I guess this would be the right time for the 20th anniversary on both sides of the Khojaly Massacre and our 20-year anniversary of having diplomatic relations with such a fine country.
Well, it's huge. I mean, I know it's almost, 20 years now, I believe, with the diplomatic relations that we have with this country, and it's a great country with this. Yeah, I think it was, over 600 civilians that were killed, a lot of women and children. Yeah, it's just, sad story, sad part of that history,
Why that's important?
Well, I tell you what, we don't have a lot of allies in the Middle East, and it's become clearly evident over the past few years that some of the countries we cannot quite trust. But Azerbaijan has been, I would say, our strongest ally in the war on terror. I've had this conversation with Senator McCain. I'm familiar with what our troops have, the assistance that the country has given our troops with the airspace and as a launching area for our troops. They provide great intel. They've been a great friend. I've been able to meet some of their leaders over the last few years, and I hope that this country embraces more of what Azerbaijan has to offer.
Got it. Excellent. Nice job.
Probably one of the most important countries for the United States. We've seen during the past decade that Azerbaijan has undertaken a significant burden helping support the U.S. mission in Afghanistan. In terms of energy security, much of the ability of Europe to be able to reduce this dependence on, say, for example, Russian sources will come from the natural gas they expect to get from Azerbaijan. In dealing with Iran, Azerbaijan has been taking a lead in trying to work out some kind of solution allowing the United States and Russia to cooperate, for example, in using its radar. Azerbaijan is currently now serving for 2 years on the UN Security Council, and that's essential that the U.S. gets support in that arena for Syria, for Iran, for Korea. So on a whole range of issues, Azerbaijan is going to be of vital importance for the United States. And so that's another reason why I think people in the United States and elsewhere want to work very closely with the Azerbaijani government in coming years. You can, of course, edit out all stuff. Yeah.
We'll be doing a lot of that over the next couple of hours. Maybe a little bit more about the energy, just in the strategic geopolitical sense, as far as Russia is concerned. Russia has obviously been the main provider to Europe for a long time, and now Azerbaijan's on the scene, and that seems to be causing some tension. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that issue.
Right. Azerbaijan's contribution to regional security is also manifested in its growing role as an energy supplying and energy conduit country. Not only is Azerbaijan a major producer of natural gas in its own right, but it's also playing an important role in helping transfer the Caspian oil and gas from, for example, Kazakhstan or Turkmenistan through South Caucasus into Europe. And that's of significance because the Europeans are very dependent at the moment on Russian energy supplies or energy supplies going through Russia, and that has proved problematic from their security point of view. So being able to diversify their sources of supply is really important for them and for the United States.
Yeah, I think we've hit all the major points.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That's fine. Otherwise, if you get a chance, I'd look, when you drive by, go take a look. It's a beautiful view. It's just right up here at the corner here.
And the location and the ability to use their airspace, not only for protection of our forces, but for transport of our forces, especially in the location of the area over there where they're located, is a big benefit to all of us and all our troops and the safety of our troops. And as Representative Watson said earlier, any ally that we have in the area is beneficial to our troops.
Now, Now they are located just north of.
Just north of Iraq, yeah.
That's a lot of crazy stuff going on in that country.
Yeah, well, and the more allies and the more friends that we have in that area that have stepped up forward to assist us and be on our side, it's greatly appreciated, and the more the better in our case,
Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people who've never even heard of this country before.
Correct.
Around here, and we've had diplomatic relationships with them going forward.
Well, I think one of the things, they have a lot of natural resources, and they may not be necessarily supplying them to us, but they're supplying them to our friends and allies, which helps the total world market and helps keep the prices down and the security of energy resources. But I think the important part is just like I said, their location is important because of where they are and the fact that they not only supply us, but they supply our other friends.
True, very true. Okay, cut.
Good enough.
The United States of America, but we can't do that isolated. The world is not like it used to be, and so what happens someplace affect what's happening right here. And what happened 9/11 is an example of what could happen, or what happened 20 years ago in Azerbaijan. We are all one, and we have to work together and support our partners. And that's what it's about.